Good evening, everyone. I'm Recchia.
And I'm Mike Collins. This is Sports for NYU Tonight. Congratulations to the NYU men's hoops team. They made the playoffs for the third straight season, this year earning the number 2 seed after a 15-10 regular season record. Tomorrow night, they will be hosting York College in the first round of the Eastern College Athletic Conference D3 tournament. The opening tip is scheduled for tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
Meanwhile, the women's team will begin their run for a Division III title this Friday at Kohl's. The team will host the first and second rounds right here on campus. The Violets finished the regular season at 21-4 and will take on Rhode Island's Salve Regina University, who they never played before, in the opening round. NYU comes into the tournament riding a 4-game winning streak. The team is making its 15th appearance in the NCAA tournament and first since reaching the Division III Final Four back in 2007. The rugged economy is making a dramatic impact in professional sports. Baseball players who in previous years would be signed to multi-year contracts by now are currently unemployed as spring training is underway. But that didn't stop Manny Ramirez and his agent Scott Boras from turning down money late last week. He declined a 1-year, $25 million offer from the LA Dodgers. Just to break this down, Ramirez would have received more than $123,000 per game. You can't help but do a double take when athletes get paid, or in this case, turn down millions of dollars while educators and police officers barely make ends meet. When Manny Ramirez, a product of the economically challenged Washington Heights, can say no to so much money, you have to wonder if salaries in sports are getting out of control. We spoke to NYU students about this earlier today.
There's a big disconnect between different levels of our society, and I think we've seen that a lot lately. Not only in sports, but also in other areas of the economy as well.
I have $2 in my wallet, so they are beyond the scope of my imagination.
I just think it's a little ridiculous that these athletes are turning down these huge paychecks just because it's $5 million off of what they want when the average person isn't even able to pay their bills every week.
Ricky, I tell you, that's such a fascinating story because you see college athletes in that clip. They're playing heart and soul in the game, not making anything, and we're going to see that at the end of the month with March Madness, and you don't necessarily see that in the pros anymore.
And you have an athlete from the 1920s like Babe Ruth, who was a big part of making baseball our nation's pastime, and he was only making $80,000 a year. So times have definitely changed.
Wow. All righty.
So with spring training going on, it's time to look at our New York sports teams.
So here's tonight's baseball hot stove report. Baseball has been more off the field than on the field lately for the Yankees.
I've put myself behind the 8 ball, that's for sure. But I have a lot of baseball to play.
Amid steroid allegations, expectations are high for Alex Rodriguez to replicate his MVP performance of 2007. That means 54 home runs and 156 ribbies. Look for Hideki Matsui to step up as DH after an injury-plagued 2008. There he is fist-pumping Nick Swisher, the Yankee newcomer who will likely take Matsui's place in the outfield. Johnny Damon is back off a 4-year, $52 million deal, and he will look to do a lot more than going down looking this season. Finally, Jorge Posada is playing in spring training. Welcome news since he was recently suffering from a shoulder injury.
New York Mets have flown under the radar this spring training, and they're likely to play second fiddle to the Yanks all season. And maybe that's for the best. Coming off 2 straight September swoons, the Mets got rid of almost all of their relief pitchers while adding star closer Francisco K-Rod Rodriguez. Manager Jerry Manuel has hinted that Jose Reyes might bat third, so expect different statistics from him this season. And Johan Santana, who is coming off elbow surgery, will once again anchor a starting rotation that hopes to have continued growth from John Maine, Oliver Perez, and big man Mike Pelfrey. The Mets are moving into brand new Citi Field and have a big chip on their shoulder. Expect them to bring it all together this season and make an honest run to the World Series.
Really like K-Rod Shefat there, but now let's talk about A-Rod with some thoughts. A-Rod has gotten a black eye from his confirmed steroid use in Texas, but should he become the poster child for steroids in baseball? I don't think so. Let's talk about some baseball history. In the mid-90s, baseball was trying to recover from the damaging 1994 players' strike. The league actually lost revenue in 1995 and 1996. Dig that. So what ended this baseball recession? While in 1997 and 1998, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and Barry Bonds became household names for their record-breaking home run heroics, and baseball was back on track, financially at least. The new home run records created interest in baseball and also created the steroid epidemic, because when players are taking steroids, others are just going to follow suit. After all, if everyone's doing it and the league isn't doing anything about it, what's the problem? 80s great Darryl Strawberry this week put it bluntly. "Hell yeah, I would have used them if I played in the 90s, he said. "Are you kidding me? Come on." That was his quote, and in my judgment, Darryl's right. We need to stop kidding ourselves. Hundreds of players use steroids, but there's only evidence outing a few players, in this case A-Rod. So enough is enough. Let's let A-Rod start anew. Let's stop the unnecessary photo ops with his ex-wife and kids to rebuild his character and make the photo ops on the field. He should prove himself on the diamond in 2009 and nowhere else, because no single player can right the wrongs of the bleak steroid era.
You know, Mike, it doesn't look like that this story is going to go away all season long. The New York media, it's like a Shark Tank there, and I don't see A-Rod getting off the hook on this one.
He's probably not going to get off the hook, but I'd really like to see them focus on the sport and not on all this off-the-field drama.
Definitely. And finally tonight, let's go back to last night in South Florida.
What a performance last night from LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
Mike,
tongue twister there.
Yeah, Mike, it was reminiscent of a playground battle, one-on-one like me and you. Everyone else get out of the way.
Tell me about it. It was definitely a thing of beauty. Let's take a look.
Look at this. Dwayne Wade slams it home. He had 41 points.
And then LeBron on the steal. He's going to do the windmill on the other end. Puts it in.
But Wade, not to be outdone, gets a steal of his own, and he's going to take it down the other end. Wade had 7 steals on the night.
He also had 41 points. LeBron James, 1 point better. He puts it home here. He had 42 on the night. How about that for an NBA regular season game?
And that's all we have for sports tonight. I'm Recchia.
And I'm Mike Collins. Thanks for joining us for sports. Now let's head to a public service announcement.